Have you ever been tempted by that magazine, thinking that if you could just advertise in it that you'd get so much exposure? Well, today I'm going to help you decide whether advertising in that magazine is really going to be worth it for your ad spend. The first thing to consider when advertising in a magazine is whether the distribution is free or if it's a paid subscription. The thing about free distributed magazines is that, say for example, a magazine claims that it's getting over 10,000 distributions in your local area, and you think, great, I want to reach 10,000 people. The thing is that those magazines are going to be waiting around in doctors' offices and public waiting areas, maybe libraries and other distribution points like that. But when the end of the month comes, they're just going to throw all of those magazines away, and you'll never actually know how many of those magazines were picked up and read. So paid subscriptions are actually a bit more value for your money in terms of ensuring that the reader is going to be that much more engaged and they want to read the magazine and they've opted in to read. The next thing you want to consider is how many competitors are listed in your magazines. And so you often have magazines that are like directory listings, where they literally are just directories listing all of your competitors next to you. And sometimes you have magazines that are really niche and they tend to have a lot of other competitors just like you advertised, maybe even on the same page. And so I always think that it's really hard to stick out when you're lying right next to your competitors, and you want to take that into consideration when deciding whether it's worth it or not. The next thing that I like to dig into is whether that magazine actually has an engaged community of their own. Do they have a Facebook page, an Instagram page? Are they engaging in any discussions in your local community? If they don't have a community behind their name, it's likely that they're just offering advertising space for the sake of making a profit, and there's no actually community engagement that they can promise to you. So it's always better to go for magazines that have an online presence, a local community presence, and are taking part in two-way discussions. That way you know that they have engaged readers that are going to be engaging with your advertising. The last thing to consider with your magazine advertising is, what are your numbers saying? Are you advertising in a magazine year in and year out just because you have that fear of missing out and you have to maintain that presence, otherwise you may feel that it looks bad next to your competitors who are listed? Well, look at the numbers. If you've advertised in the past and people aren't letting you know that they've heard about your business through that magazine, then the chances are that it's actually just not working for you and you need to rededicate your marketing spend elsewhere.